Today's lesson is lesson 2.3, graphing linear equations. The first thing we need to graph a linear equation is the formula y equals mx plus b. We saw this formula in the first lesson of this unit. The only difference we saw, instead of y, we did use function notation and used f of x. We have been working on in the last few lessons that this m value right here stands for the slope. So this, remember, is our slope. And this number right here, this b value, we've kind of seen it, but this b value stands for our y-intercept. And these are the two things that are going to help us to graph a line, okay? The y-intercept is where we begin, which is why I do believe that we use the letter b as our variable for our y-intercept. And our slope tells us how to move. Remember, in the last lesson, we talked about slope telling us to go up and to the right. Remember, up was our positive direction, or it told us to go down and to the right. And remember, down was our negative direction. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our first example. Y equals 7 over 2x minus 2. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with b. Now, one of the things that I do need to come back up and show you about b is, of course, this number here that does not have the variable x with it, but I also need to grab its symbol in front of it. No matter what that symbol is, b is going to be whatever symbol is in front of b. So if it's plus, it's a positive beginning. If it's a minus, then it's a negative beginning. All right, so let's take a look. If you'd like, you can always go ahead and write underneath here, write y equals mx plus b. So to find the b, it's going to be this part right here. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. And it's going to be this 2 right here, and it's going to be negative. So I'm going to say that it is negative 2. I'm going to come over to my graph, and I'm going to, because it is the y-intercept, I'm going to go to the y-axis, which is this axis right here, and I'm going to find the number negative 2, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a point there. There it is. There's my beginning. Now I need to know how to move. And remember, how to move is my slope. So here is my slope, which would be the 7 over 2. 7 over 2. I'm going to go up 7, and then I'm going to go to the right 2. So let me go ahead and go up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to go to the right 2. 1, 2, and here is my new point at the very end. I can repeat this process as many times as I'd like, but I only need 2 points to connect to make my graph. So I'm going to grab my ruler and I'm going to do the best I can. There we go, to make my graph. It's customary that you put arrows on the end to show that the graph never stops going in an upward direction and never stops going in this direction as well. Let's go ahead and try another one. All right, so when we're asked to graph, one of the nice things we can do is we can come underneath and we can add our form, y equals mx plus b. The first thing we want to find is b. Remember, when we're finding b, we need to grab the symbol in front. This is a positive 3, so b will be 3. I'm going to come over to my graph and I'm going to go to the y-axis and I'm going to find the positive number 3 and I'm going to place my point, my beginning point. If your graph does not have the numbers like mine does, remember that where your x-axis and your y-axis intersect each other is 0. On the x-axis, if you count in the right direction, it is positive. If you count in the direction left, it is negative. If you count up, it's positive. If you count down, it's negative. And so that's just a way for you to help you if it's not marked for you. Now let's go ahead and find our slope and how we move. Our slope this time is -6. Remember, when you have a number like -6 that is an integer, positive or negative, you're going to go ahead and you're going to place it over 1 because it is a fraction. It's just trying to trick you. All right, we're going to go ahead and since it is -6, I'm going to go ahead and move down 6. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm going to go 1 to the right, and here is my point. There's my next point, and I'm going to go ahead and connect them together. Oh, where'd it go? Uh-oh, my point went away. 1 to the right. There it is. Let's go ahead and make our point. Let me see if I can make my graph a little bit better, our line. There we go. All right. Pause the video and see if you can do this graph. Uh-oh, it's missing what it needs. Here we go. There we go. Pause the video and see if you can do this one on your own. Remember, the first thing that you want to do is you want to go ahead and put your form mx plus b underneath. Remember, we want to start with b because that is where we begin. I'm going to grab this, but what I'm noticing is that there is nothing up there. There's nothing in that position. So I'm going to go ahead and say it is 0 because there's nothing there. So this is where I will begin my graph, right at 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show myself how to move. And remember, that's your slope. So 5/3. 5/3. It is positive, so we're going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. There's our point. And we're going to go ahead and you connected them together. Great job. Oh, no. Where'd my point go? Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, doesn't want to cooperate with me. 2, 3. Let me see. No. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Okay, that works better. All right, let's go ahead and connect them together. That's actually pretty good. There we go. All right, I'm pretty sure you've got it, but I do want to show you two special cases. How do you graph x equals 5 and y equals -3? Well, x equals 5 is a very special case. There is no slope and there is no y-intercept. Notice it's not in that form, y equals. It starts with x equals. So we can't use y equals mx plus b because it just doesn't work. It starts in a different manner. These are not equal. When this happens, I need to remember that my graph has 1 point and 1 point only, and that point is at the number that x is equal to, in this case 5. It is going to be the number that is on the x-axis because we have x equals. So we want to make sure that we find that number on the x-axis. And then my graph is going to go straight up and straight down from that point. So there's my special case. This graph, we can say it crosses the x-axis at the number 5. And it's doing it at 5 because that is what x is equal to. The second special case is almost exactly the same. However, you can use the form y equals mx plus b. Notice that the number that you're given here is not the slope because it does not have the x with it. This number is your b, or your beginning. So your beginning for this one is going to be at -3. So you can go ahead and go to your y-axis and you can put your beginning point at -3. There is no slope written because there is no x. There's no x written. So your slope would be 0 in this case. If you go back and look at your lesson 1, or sorry, I think it was lesson 2, where we talked about the types of slopes, positive, negative, 0, and undefined, you would see that it would go straight across like this if you have a 0 slope. Notice these two graphs are very similar to one another. The first one is x equals, and it touches the x-axis at the point 5 and goes vertically up and down, the opposite direction away from that x. We want all the x's to be 5. All the x's of the point are 5 going up and going in a downward direction. All my ordered pairs. For this one, we want all of our y values to equal -3. So this one, we could say that it crosses the y-axis at -3. And we're using that -3 because it was my beginning point and because it was the point that was given.